Varnashrama Vibhagashah. Varnashrama Vibhagashah. Svanushthitasya dharmasya. Svanushthitasya dharmasya. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. Atha Pumbi Vijayashrestha. Varnashrama Vibhagashah. Svanushthitasya dharmasya. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. Yes, three Prabhujis and three Matatis. Matajis. The third word is Swanushthi Tasya. Swanushthi Tasya. Swanushthi Tasya. Yes, other two Matajis. Swanushtistasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Swanushtistasya dharmasya Choti Mata. Nice. What word meaning? Ataha. So, Pumbihi, by the human being. Dvija Shrestha, O best among the twice born. Varnashrama, the institution of 4 castes and 4 orders of life. Vibhagashah, by the division of. Svanushthitasya, of one's own prescribed duties. Dharmasya, occupational. Samsiddhi, the highest perfection. Hari, the personality of Godhead. Toshanam, pleasing. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste divisions and orders of life is to please the personality of Godhead. Purport. Human society all over the world is divided into 4 castes and 4 orders of life. The 4 castes are the intelligent caste, the marital caste, the martial caste, the productive caste, and the laborer caste. These castes are classified in terms of one's work and qualification and not by birth. Then again, there are 4 orders of life, namely the student life, the householder's life, the retired, and the devotional life. In the best interest of human society, there must be such divisions of life. Otherwise, no social institution can grow in a healthy state. And in each and every one of the above mentioned divisions of life, the aim must be to please the supreme authority of the personality of Godhead. This institutional function of human society is authority of the personality, is known as the system of Varnashrama Dharma, which is quite natural for the civilized life. The Varnashrama institution is constructed to enable one to realize the absolute truth. It is not for artificial domination of one division over another. When the aim of life, that is, realization of the absolute truth, is missed by too much attachment for Indriya Preeti or sense gratification, as already discussed here and before, the institution of the Varnashrama is utilized by selfish men to pose an artificial predominance over the weaker section. In the Kali Yuga or in the age of quarrel, this artificial dominance is already current. But the saner section of the people know it well that divisions of castes and orders of life are meant for smooth social intercourse and high thinking self realization and not for any other purpose. Here in the statement of Bhagavatam is that the highest aim of life or the highest perfection of institution of Varnashrama Dharma is to cooperate jointly for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 4:13. We'll chant Mangalacharya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurodmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guraho Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamtamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mokam karoti vachalam pannangayate girim yat kripatam vande Shri Gurum Vinatarinam. Welcome everyone. So very happy to see you all after a long time. Yesterday I met a couple of the devotees in one program. So there's the time when all of us come together, no other work, only Shravan, sit and hear. I feel very fortunate that I get this service to speak, to purify myself, to remind myself about various principles of bhakti. Today morning in the youth class we were discussing about Devanand Pandit, Tomorrow is the disappearance day of Devanand Pandit, a very great soul in Gaur Lila, and various different principles that we can learn. And here I have been given the shloka. Now, the shloka itself is a little heavy, so don't complain if my class is heavy. A very nice shloka where some very, very basic principle of the society is mentioned. And a lot of things to ponder on, that where do we stand now and where are we supposed to go? That's what we're supposed to contemplate and comprehend throughout this session that we're going to have now. So this shloka says, Atha pumbir dvija shrestha varnashrama vibhagashah swanushthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. So here, this is the address by Shaunakadi Rishis, or I should say Sutta Goswami to Shaunakadi Rishis. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation, according to caste divisions and orders of life, is to please the personality of Godhead. So basically, it is talking about Varnashrama. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, human society all over the world is divided into 4 castes and 4 orders of life. The 4 castes are the intelligent, martial, productive, and laborer. These castes are classified in terms of one's work and qualification and not by birth. Then again, there are 4 orders of life, namely student life, householder life, retired, and devotional life. See, if you analyze properly, there is one original Varnashrama that is all discussed in the Shastra. But currently, we can classify into 4 different types. The prevalent one that we have, the first one, is spontaneous Varnashrama. So Prabhupada, in one of the conversation with Professor Grigori in Moscow, he is explaining about Varnashrama created by God and what is currently existing here now in the society. So I'll just read as it is. Prabhupada is saying, in Bhagavad Gita there is a statement, Chatur Varnyam Maya Shrishtam. This system was created by Vishnu. So since Varnashrama is a creation of the Supreme, it cannot be changed. It is prevalent everywhere. It is like the sun. The sun is a creation of the Supreme. The sunshine is there in America, in Russia, and in India, everywhere. Similarly, this Varnashrama system is prevalent everywhere in some form or other. So as sun exists everywhere, Prabhupada is saying, Varnashrama system exists everywhere. It's not that it is only in India. It exists everywhere. America, Russia, Prabhupada is saying. Similarly, this Varnashrama system, okay, take for example the Brahmanas, the most intelligent class of men. They are the brains of the society. Kshatriyas are the administrative class, then the Vaishyas are productive class, and the Shudras are the worker class. These 4 classes of men are prevalent everywhere under different names because it is created by the original creator, so it is prevalent everywhere, Varnashrama Dharma. So this is a conversation which took place on June 22nd, 1971, Moscow. So Prabhupada is saying that everywhere the system exists. There will be always people who are intellectuals. There will be always some people who will get into the managerial roles, administrative class. There will be always some people who will be always into business. And there will be always a good number of people as laborers. So they will work for the above 3. Now this is the spontaneous one which exists everywhere. Now they might not call themselves as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. But the activities itself, by that we can know that how are they working? Intellectually, or by their strength, or as business people, or as laborers. So this is spontaneous. Second category, or second type we can say, is materialistic Varnashrama. Now what is materialistic Varnashrama? The current caste system that we see in India, we have no general, open, SC, ST, OBC, what else? One of my friend was telling during my college admission time, ये हम लोग जनरल में क्यों है? SC, ST में वो तो जल्दी admission मिल जाता है. So the current system that is there of caste, so that is called as the materialistic Varnashram for our discussion. And many times you will see intellectuals are put off when we talk about caste system, higher caste, lower caste. And many times Sanatana Dharma is pointed saying, no, such a degraded system this is. But this is materialistic Varnashrama. This is not something that was prevalent. Not the original Varnashrama this is. This is a materialistic one where people have created for their own convenience, all by birth. See, Prabhupada writes in the purport, the Varnashrama institution is constructed to enable one to realize the absolute truth. That is the goal. But currently what is happening? It is not for artificial domination of one division over another, when the aim of life, that is realization of the absolute truth, is missed by too much attachment for Indriya Preeti or sense gratification, as already discussed here and before. The institution of the Varnashrama is utilized by selfish men to pose an artificial predominance over the weaker section. See, this is what took place with time, when people who are called as so-called the higher class people, the Brahmanas, they got spoiled and they wanted to take over the power. And because they had selfish desire, ulterior motive than advancing in bhakti, so what happened? They started suppressing the lower ones. Now it's a very important point to note. Prabhupada also mentions in the various discourses. He mentioned this point, that this was a foolishness of our people in the past, that they allowed so many people to get converted into Islam. Now it used to happen, it's very humorous. Say someone, say a Muslim comes and spits at a Brahmanan. So the other Brahmanical class or the community of Brahmanas, they'll reject him saying, now you're not part of our group. Now you're a Muslim, go. ऐसे खुद ने convert किया है, Prabhupada said. So many people got converted because of the stupidity of all these people who had ulterior motive. So many people got converted. Unfortunate, very unfortunate. And this atrocious activities of our lower class, this is never there in the Varnashrama system. Never. It's all about staying together, cooperating with each other, and working for the pleasure of Krishna. That is Varnashrama. But now this caste system, lower caste, nowadays obviously lower caste, now we'll get more privilege. I know some people who change from general or whatever to OBC, this and that, just so that they can get more privilege. And in some places, the Brahmanas, they're beaten very nicely, I heard. In some states in India only, I was hearing. So they say that, say there's a snake passing by and there's a Brahmana passing by and there's a stick that you have in the hand. Whom will you beat? And they say, not the snake, you should beat the Brahmana. These are the slogans that people have. And I don't think that it is their mistake. Because when you talk about by birth, some designation, then all this nonsense will come into picture. There is no by birth designation. Brahmana is just one designation, like a doctor or a lawyer. Now, doctor or lawyer, they have very nicely done their education, become qualified, and they get the designation. But here, Brahmana, it cannot be by birth. So currently what is going on is materialistic civilization, materialistic Varnashrama, you can call it as. See, in the past, when it comes to the Shudras, the labor class or the working class, they were treated as the kids of the family. And they were also very, very obedient. They will not switch their job. No, they'll be working for the same family till their last breath. And the master in the house, they will also take care of them like that. Whatever they'll get for them also. They'll cook food for them also. And they'll be very, very obedient, very, very loyal. So here with this, we understand very clearly that there is a difference between the materialistic caste system and the original Varnashrama that we had. This is second type, materialistic. Let's talk about the Vedic or original. How was it? What is expectation? Parashara Muni, father of Vyasadeva, he tells or he talks about this Varnashrama and the goal of Varnashrama. Please repeat. Varnashrama Charavatam Purushena Parapuman Vishnur Aradhyate Pantah Nanyat Tattosha Karana. So here it is said that this entire Varnashrama that is created, if people follow their prescribed duties for pleasing the Lord, Lord is very pleased. In fact, he says there is no other way to satisfy the Lord, he says. There's no other way to satisfy the Lord. So, Parashara Muni is referring to original Varnashrama system. Very wonderful, very scientific. So, what is this Varna and Ashram? Let's dive a little deeper and see. Especially all of us who are going out on the street distributing Bhagavad Gitas, or the ones who already told the neighbors, relatives, everyone that I'm going to ISKCON, I start practicing bhakti. We should know this very well. What is it? Because always there will be some intellectuals, modern day atheistic intellectuals will come. And they'll always counter, they'll always question that this is all nonsense. Why this caste system is there? Why your Vedic culture supports caste system? Then you should have complete knowledge of what is what. Then you can give a class. You can begin with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chant the shloka, Atha Pumbir Juja Shreshta, and then you can begin. So what is Varna? Varna is the social status. 4 Varnas. What are the 4 Varnas? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So now this is not by birth, this is by Guna and Karma. Chatur Varnyam Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashah. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying that I have created this. And how is this entire society divided? How I have created this entire section in the society? He says, Guna, Karma, Vibhagashah. Based on qualities that the person has acquired. And second, by karma, the activities that the person is inclined to. See, all of us can also see in ourselves, obviously now we are a khichdi of everything. But in general also we can see that we have certain set of qualities. And we have a certain inclination of doing certain work. But still we might be forced to do certain thing because unfortunate situation in Kali Yuga, the current age. But actually, this entire section of human society, the social status, is based on guna and karma. Look at the qualities of Brahmanas. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, different qualities of a Brahman. Please repeat. Shamodamastapa shaucham Shantirarjavamevacha Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. So here Krishna is saying, what are the qualities of a Brahmana? First is Shamaha, where the person is very peaceful. Control of mind, he has good control of mind. Dama, control of senses, so he's sense controlled. Tapa, is austere. Then Shaucha, very clean. Kshanti, he is very tolerant. Arjavam, he is very simple. Jnanam, he has knowledge. Vijnanam, he has wisdom. Astikyam, he is religious. So these are the qualities of a Brahmana. You can refer to 18th chapter, Shloka 42, Bhagavad Gita. You will find these qualities. So when a person says that I'm a Brahmana because I'm wearing a 2 rupees thread, that is not correct. Brahmana means these qualities. I remember the first Gita course that we did here in Sarjapur, not in this place, the previous one. So after the class, a person came and then he started talking to me, husband and wife. And they were telling me, we are Brahmanas. Now see, after reading all this, you cannot accept it. It was very difficult. I am a Brahmana. Then I asked them, so what do you do? What is your job description? Yeah, IT profession. I said, IT means Shudra, not Brahmana. There is no question of Brahmana. If you take salary, it means you are not a Brahmana. Because Brahmana means they just do 6 activities. Patan Patan, Yajan Yajan, Dan Pratigraha. Patan Patan, they study Shastra, teach Shastra. Even the current day teachers are not called as Brahmanas. They take salary. They are also in Shudra category. Free. Free education. Whatever the student want to give as Guru Dakshina, the person will accept. No demanding. 3 lakhs, junior KG. That's what that is Patan Patan. Yajan Yajan, they will do Yajna for themselves, for others also. They'll teach others how to do Yajna, how to worship. Dan Pratigraha, they'll accept Dan, charity, and whatever they accept, little bit they'll keep for their maintenance, basic maintenance, and rest they will distribute. So they accept charity, they give charity. So traditionally, Brahmanas have been always poor. No Brahmana was rich, always poor. Even a personality like Chanakya Pandit was in the court of King Chandragupta. Okay. So this particular personality, he was so poor. You can imagine such a great personality. Chanakya Niti is known to everyone. Even today, there are books which people are translating and distributing. Chanakya Niti. But then this personality was poor. And this poverty was not something which was forced on him. This was a voluntary poverty-stricken condition. He himself accepted. And they were very clear. Brahmanas are so honest, so simple. I was hearing about Chanakya Pandit. I was very astonished. So there was one lamp that was lit. This was evening time. And he was reading something related to the kingdom. He was reading. So one of his relatives came to talk to him. So immediately he lit another lamp and he switched off this lamp, extinguished that lamp. So the relative was little puzzled. Ye kya kiya? What was the need? He said, see, the oil in this lamp is that of the kingdom. Office se diya hai. And the oil here, this is purchased by me. And since this is private conversation, so I'll use this. For official work, I'll use this. Isko kehte hain honesty. To the simplicity. Wow. Brahmanas were like this. Ekdam strict. Ekdam strict. They would not bend an inch, budge an inch. Therefore, when Britishers came, for them it was very difficult to understand how these people are so strong. Because they were shastrically rooted and they were very clear of what they're supposed to do and they're very self-satisfied. तो कोई हिला ही नहीं सकता ऐसे लोग को. The one who is so self-satisfied, how can you shake that person? So this is a description of a Brahman. Kshatriya. Please repeat. This is 1843 Bhagavad Gita. Shauryam tejo dhritirdakshyam yuddhe chapya apalayanam danam ishvara bhavascha kshatram karma svabhavajam. Here it is a Shauryam. So Kshatriya are natural heroic personalities, natural heroes. Teja, very powerful. Dhriti, very determined. Than liya to than liya, karke rahenge. Dakshyam, very resourceful. Yuddhe cha api apalayanam. Whenever there is a war, they'll never run away from there. They'll be in forefront always. They'll lead the army. Danam, very charitable. Ishvara bhava, they have that leadership quality. They have that controllership quality. Such are the Kshatriyas. See, Kshatriyas are the ones, any challenge comes, they'll face the challenge. They'll not say, nahi, mujhse nahi ho payega and all that. No. Someone comes to fight, they'll accept the challenge. Many times people say, Yudhishthir Maharaj ko kya zarurat thi? Kya zarurat thi juwa khelne ki? What was the need of him to gamble? There was a challenge that came from the other side. And it's the dharma of a Kshatriya to accept the challenge. He cannot reject the challenge. Can you imagine? Yudhishthira Maharaj had to gamble. He had to participate in the gambling match. Kabhi peeth dikha ke bhagenge nahi. Never. They'll stand. Either they will win or they will die. These are the only two things that they will do on the battlefield. Either they'll win or they'll die. Now, when people say that I'm from Kshatriya family and say if they're made to stand on the border, just imagine what will happen. Maybe start shivering. Maybe their pants will be wet. You never know. Yes. Looking at the bombs and this and that. It's a different species altogether, Kshatriyas. A different species altogether. And they are the ones who will never use their prowess to suppress someone. They'll always use their prowess to support the entire society and uplift the weaker society, weaker section of the society also. These are Kshatriyas. Vaishyas and Shudras. This is 1844 Bhagavad Gita. Krishi Gorakshya Vanijyam Vaishyakarma Swabhavajam Paricharyatmakam Karma Shudrasyapi Swabhavajam. So Vaishyas are the ones who do Krishi and Goraksha. Krishi means farming and Goraksha is cow protection. So Krishi and Goraksha is done by Vaishyas. Vaishyas means business class. But every businessman is expected to have farm, is expected to have cows. And then he can also have his trade. Whatever excess he produces, he can have, he can trade that. So it's a very important subject matter to discuss. Now we have so many startups and this and that coming up. That's very nice, appreciated. But then every businessman, if he says that I'm a businessman, along with that, whatever business he has, he's supposed to have farm. He's supposed to have cows. I was seeing nowadays people want to keep python in their house as pet. Wow. Someone kept lion in their house as a pet. Why don't you keep a cow, Baba? What is the problem? Keep a cow as a pet. In fact, it is described. I was very happy to know this. See, normally when does cow give milk? When she just delivers the baby. But it is described that, say, right from childhood, if the cow is taken care nicely, right from the calf time, and when it grows into a proper cow with proper udder. So just because the person who is taking care, he has so much of love, and the cow also develops love for the person. So the cow treats the person as the child. And looking at that person, naturally the milk will start flowing. This is what happened, this is what would take place in Vrindavan. The cows would look at Krishna and the milk would come out. All the time. All the time. So every businessman is expected to have Krishi and Go, Raksha. They're supposed to do that. It's not that you eat beef. I'm a businessman, so I'll go for meetings and there we'll eat beef. Sorry. No, that's not allowed according to Shastra. And finally comes the Shudra category. So anyone who takes the daily wages or salary, they are called as Shudras. There's nothing wrong in that. It's a working class. And all the parents also, they encourage their kids, you should become the best Shudra. Go to school, study nicely. Go to college, study nicely. Why? You should become the best Shudra. Abhi option bhi to nahi hai na kuch. Yes. So all the multinational companies with mlechas at the top, meat eaters, and they are the ones who are leading the company, and we are the ones who are serving them. I mean, sorry, all of you. Yes, you're serving them. You're serving them. But actually, Shudra ka definition kya hai pata hai? Shudras will serve Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. They're higher class. But now currently when people are serving the meat eaters, I don't know which class that is. That cannot be called a Shudra also. And Shudras will not switch the job. So that is also a question mark. So anyway, so this is the original Varnashrama that is there according to one's guna and karma. So Brahmanas are predominantly in mode of goodness. Kshatriyas are predominantly in mode of passion. Vaishyas are predominantly in the mixture of passion and ignorance. And Shudras are predominantly in ignorance. So these are the four categories of, or I should put it as the social status based on guna and karma. Prabhupada says that Okay, you tell me, which one, which of the social status, which of this category are very important? Which can be removed from the society? Huh? All four required? Everyone says all four required? Or you feel that someone can be removed? Prabhupada says these four categories of people, they are like the body of the society. Brahmanas are the head, Kshatriyas are the arms, Vaishyas are the belly, Shudras are the legs. Now tell me, which part can be removed? But still, one thing is that if Brahmanas are there, still some activity can be done. Yes, no doubt. Even if everything goes off, there are people with just with the head still able to live. But then currently Prabhupada says, currently the society is headless society. Brahmanas are missing. This is what Prabhupada has been saying. But anyways, the important concept is all four categories of people are needed for the society to work properly. For the society to be peaceful, all four categories are needed. So this is Varna. What are the four ashramas? Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. These are the four ashramas. So Prabhupada says if a person lives for 100 years, it can be divided into four parts. First part is called Brahmachari phase of life, first 25 years, where the person is free from any sexual activity. Second is Grahastha life, that is another 25. So it's a contract. During marriage, there's a contract. We'll stay together for 25 years. And there's a contract. So they stay together. Now, after marriage, the person cannot say that sannyas lena hai. Sorry, not allowed. You're supposed to be there in the family, execute the responsibilities. Because many times I see some Matajis become very tensed. प्रभु जी मेरे प्रभु बहुत ज्यादा भक्ति कर रहे हैं, वो चले जाएंगे. कहाँ जाएंगे? प्रभु जी आपके साथ मंदिर में आ जाएंगे, है ना? उसको लेने वाला कौन है? Who will take him? So there is no question of quitting in between. One has to execute one's duties. Then when the person crosses the age of 50 and the age begins as 51, that's called Ekya 1 means forest, and a person should leave for Tirth Yatra. 50 साल के बाद घर पे नहीं रहना. Both husband and wife, they have to go for Tirth Yatra. Now there is no sexual relationship that the husband and wife will have. They are just going around Tirth Yatra to serve the sadhus there and develop enough detachment. And then after that, if still the male is living, he can take sannyas. This is around 65, 70, 75 age. He can take sannyas. So wife will be left with the elder son, and the husband will take sannyas. Many times females they ask this question: हम क्यों नहीं संन्यास ले सकते? ले लो, आपको कौन मना कर रहा है? Actually, every female whose husband has taken sannyas is also supposed to remain like a sannyasini at home. No responsibility, no taking of household material responsibility, only bhakti throughout the day. That is what is expected by the female. So in this way we see, these are the four ashramas. Now this varna and ashram, this is something that is very, very important to understand. By the way, so this varna and ashram, dharman, who is supposed to follow? Option A, males. Option B, females. Option C, both. Both? But you know what? It's males. They're supposed to follow. What about females? Females have a separate dharma that's called as Tri Dharma. So they have a separate set of things to be done that's called as Tri Dharma. Obviously, a Brahmana's wife will be called as Brahmani only. Kshatriya's wife will be called as Kshatrani only. But then they have a certain set of things to be done. That's called Tri Dharma. In fact, I would request Matajis here, my senior Matajis can lead and have Tri Dharma classes. I think Panatur they want to start very soon. They were behind me that we should have Tri Dharma classes. I said I cannot give, I don't know what it is. Yes, you can always research. It's there in Bhagavatam. And I think in our Kannamangala center they did a series of Tri Dharma classes. So you all can learn what that aspect is. So like this we have these Varna Dharma Ashram dharma, Stri dharma. These are the three dharmas, which are available. Males have to follow Varnashrama and females have to follow Stri dharma. Now see what Prabhupada is saying in today's purport. In the best interest of human society, there must be such divisions of life. Otherwise, no social institution can grow in a healthy state. And in each and every one of the above mentioned divisions of life, the aim must be to please the supreme authority of the personality of Godhead. So now, when someone says that I'm doing my Varna Dharma, Ashram Dharma, some female is saying that I'm doing Stri Dharma. You know what is the goal? The goal is only one. The goal is, by doing these activities, I want to please Krishna. How Krishna will be pleased? By doing these activities. Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, here. Why Krishna will be pleased by doing that? Who has given these duties? Krishna has given. So when you follow the instructions given in Shastra, naturally Lord is very pleased. So those are Lord's instructions, and when we follow, Lord is very pleased. Therefore, just by doing these duties, Lord is very pleased. So three types of Varnashrama were discussed till now. What was the first one? The spontaneous one that exists in the society. Second, we discussed the materialistic one. And third, the original one, the Vaidhi. Now fourth is the divine Varnashrama, or the Varnashrama which Prabhupada wanted. Let's discuss that a little. In fact, a lot of research is still needed, how this has to be done and what it has to be done. But then there is a good direction that is given. See, Prabhupada gives some essential features of this divine Varnashrama. First one is the goal. The goal of life of everyone in the Daivi Varnashrama is only one, that is pure devotional service. For your information, in the Vedic Varnashrama that we just discussed, people would take many lifetimes to go back home, back to Godhead. But in Daivi Varnashrama, one lifetime is enough. Because the goal is pure devotional service. Second, Prabhupada says that there should be a sustainable economical model which is local, based on land and cows. Now for this, third thing that Prabhupada says is, there should be Varnashrama colleges. Because now, whatever we have learned, it's all the thing that of this world, the modern day, how to live our life. But then, how we are supposed to live our life according to Shastra, that has to be learned. For that, Prabhupada, many times he has given this quote, that we should have Varnashrama college. And all glories to Prabhupada's disciples, who have established Varnashram college now in different places. And that is propagated also very nicely. So we have Varnashrama colleges. In fact, we want to establish one for our center also, so that those people who are interested, they can do nice research. Because the first thing that has to be done in establishing, or I should say re-establishing the Varnashrama, or specifically the divine Varnashrama, is research. So that's the first thing that has to be done, and for that Varnashram college is needed. And based on time, candidate and the country, the Varnashrama principles have to be introduced. So these are few things that has to be done, but the goal is very clear. The goal is to render pure devotional service. Whatever I'm doing, I want to do it for the pleasure of the Lord. That is the goal of this Daivi Varnashrama. So initially what I used to think is that, because many times Grahastha devotees ask this question to me, that can Grahastha devotees go back home, back to Godhead? What do you all think? बोलिए यस हरि बोल, क्या प्रॉब्लम क्या है? आप लोग नहीं जाना चाहते हैं क्या? मैं तो नहीं आ रहा फिर से प्रचार करने के लिए, मुझे छोड़ दो. One of our devotees was saying that, Prabhu, I'll not allow you to go back home, back to Godhead. I said, why, Prabhu? What mistake I have done? No, because I will not go. You should stay back with me. Anyways, हम लोग का भी कुछ नंबर लगेगा नहीं, पता नहीं. But the point is, specifically for Grahastha devotees, when this question comes, is it possible to go back home, back to Godhead in one life? It is possible, provided we start this Daivi Varnashrama. Because if we don't have Daivi Varnashrama, the maximum duration of life will just go in serving mlechas. And it will be very, very difficult not to invest a lot of time in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, this Daivi Varnashrama is a very, very important thing. But then currently, why in ISKCON we don't, means there's a talk going on about Varnashrama, but still, majority of the people, they consider that we are already devotees, we are above Varnashrama. Now, this is what is the funda, no, that, or this is the talk that goes on in the community of devotees in ISKCON. Because that's how Prabhupada started. First thing that Prabhupada started was, forget Varnashrama. This was during 1966 to 1973. So that was the time. There is a nice lecture where Prabhupada is saying, this Bhagavad Gita lecture, 30th December 1968, Los Angeles. Therefore, this is the panacea to engage everyone in Krishna consciousness. Chanting Hare Krishna. This is the only remedy. Now you cannot again introduce the system of Varnashrama. So Prabhupada said this. So you chant Hare Krishna. Only. You see, during that time, Grahasthas would also live in the temple. So men will live in one room, the Matais will live in another room. When they want to beget a child, there'll be a room for that. And there again, in different rooms. And all of them missionaries. Full day, only chant Hare Krishna. So now what happens is many times people think Prabhupada has said chant Hare Krishna, Varnashrama is not needed. Chant Hare Krishna only. That was the point. Only at that time Prabhupada need not add because everyone was full time there. And Prabhupada says, because Prabhupada's entire thing at that time was somehow we need to get the Brahmanas. Brahmanas are missing in the society. So Prabhupada says, this is another lecture in San Francisco, 1970. At the present moment, the society is headless. A dead body or a head cracked, crazy. Prabhupada can only speak all this. There is head, nonsense head. What is the use of nonsense head? Therefore, there is a great necessity of creating a class who will act as brain and head, that is Krishna consciousness. Therefore, you see, at that time, the only focus during this period, specifically 1966 to 1973, Prabhupada spoke a lot about only this, chant Hare Krishna. Do all these different services, book distribution and worshipping the deities. And after every activity, there is only. Nothing else apart from this. No material activity. Only this. Only 64 angas of bhakti, nothing beyond this. And you take up any Prabhupada disciple, be it Mataji or a Prabhu, during that time, you will see that none of them were doing any material activity. But there were some, you might say that, no, we know some Prabhupada disciples who were working. Some were working in restaurants, some were working somewhere else, some were driving cabs. What of them? You know what they used to do? They used to work because at that time there were no funds in the temple. They would work and give the entire salary to the temple. That was their work. I know example of Jayanand Prabhu. Jayanand Prabhu was temple president. So morning he'll do his temple president activities. At night he'll drive the cab as a cab driver. I don't know when he would sleep. Even Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, I heard about him. He was doing this work of in the restaurant and as a cleaner or something like that. Their entire focus was this, that now temple needs fund, mission needs the funds, we'll work and give the entire funds to the temple. Even I heard about Gopal Krishna Maharaj when he was a Grahastha. He would earn and give entire thing to Prabhupada. And for his family maintenance, he would take pocket money from Prabhupada. So these were Prabhupada disciples, fully Krishna conscious, no other activity, no material activity, fully Krishna conscious. So at that time, it was very spontaneous, it was very natural, everyone was doing. So Prabhupada was speaking about this. But then there was some crisis in 1973. There was artificial manipulation of oil supply in Middle East and prices went really high and there's a lot of problem in the society. Not ISKCON I'm talking about, in general. So at that time, Prabhupada felt that these people will not become full-time, they'll not become Krishna conscious. But then, if they're not peaceful, what will happen? How will they take up to Krishna consciousness? So at that time, he started speaking about Varnashrama for others. First he said, no need of Varnashrama anywhere. Get everyone into Krishna consciousness. Make everyone chant. Then next phase of Prabhupada's preaching from 1973 was, we have to set up Varnashrama for others. Some references. 14th March 1974 morning walk, Prabhupada is saying, because if the people are in chaos, how they will be able to accept great philosophy? It requires cool brain. In another place, Prabhupada says, indeed, a brain nourished by fresh milk from protected cows can assimilate the subtle form of spiritual knowledge. So now the entire goal and entire inspiration that Prabhupada was giving was all about set up Varnashrama for common public. Because how will they live? They are so much in chaos. They're so tensed. And so much of tension, they'll not be able to imbibe spiritual subject matter. So दूसरों के लिए वर्णाश्रम establish कीजिए. Another quote. 14th March 1974 Vrindavan morning walk. Devotee. Personally, he has no problem, but he pushes himself in this degraded society to teach how to live, how to become gentlemen. Otherwise, we have no business. But if we don't give them the opportunity, they will not be able to come to Krishna consciousness. So now this was the point. If we really want to get common public into Krishna consciousness, we have to give them steps. And Varnashrama is a gradual progress in Krishna consciousness. So we have to set up this gradual steps so that everyone in the society, they can take to Krishna consciousness. But then something started happening in ISKCON at that time. Obviously the movement was growing like anything. But then with time, there were people who were falling from their position. There were sannyasis who fell. And there were thefts. There were some nonsensical activities that were happening. So Prabhupada understood now. Initially he said no Varnashrama. Then he said Varnashrama for others. Then finally, during his last phase in 1977 onwards, he started saying Varnashrama for people in the organization. बाहर वालों को छोड़िए, इनको sustain करना है तो we need Varnashrama here. So Prabhupada, this is, February 14, 1977. Prabhupada is writing. Prabhupada reminded the devotees how important it was for them to inspire and educate people by following Varnashrama principles. When a disciple pointed out that Lord Chaitanya dismissed Varnashrama as external in a conversation where Ramananda Rai and Lord Chaitanya are having a very intense discussion. Someday we can take that section and discuss here. So in that section, Lord Chaitanya is asking that what is the best thing that a person should do? And the first thing that Ramananda Rai says is follow Varnashrama. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Eho bhaiya, aage kaho aag. This is external. Tell something more. So that is what is this disciple saying, Prabhupada, but Lord Chaitanya said that's external. Prabhupada said, our position is different. Our duty is that we shall arrange the external affairs also nicely, that one day they will come to the spiritual platform very easily, paving the way. Can you imagine Prabhupada is saying that we have to make the gradual process for our devotees now, for people in the organization. During his last phase, one devotee asked Prabhupada that, do you have any regrets? Prabhupada said he had one lamentation. So the disciple asked, is that lamentation because of you not able to finish Srimad Bhagavatam? Prabhupada said, no. My unfinished task is I have not established Varnashrama. What Prabhupada said. That's my unfinished task. Therefore, a lot of people are talking, a lot of senior devotees are talking about Varnashrama now. When Prabhupada used to speak all this, then a disciple, he told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you only said that Vaishnavas are beyond Varnashrama. So see what Prabhupada is saying. Varnashrama should be established to become Vaishnava. It is not so easy to become Vaishnava. If to become Vaishnava is so easy, why so many fall down? It is not easy to become Vaishnava, Prabhupada is saying. It's not easy to become a devotee. This is what Prabhupada is saying. See, first and foremost, in the association, in the community of Vaishnavas, the first thing is there should not be any adharma. No adharma, zero adharma. There should be no theft. No one should lie. No one can gossip. No one can do nonsensical activities in in the association of Vaishnavas. Not possible, not allowed, not allowed. It's adharmic. But then when people get into that, then that is understood. They are not at the level of, or at the level where we can call them as Vaishnavas. Bare minimum, this basic. Even in the book which I have compiled, in the introduction part, this is what I have written about that. What is the need of maintaining purity? Because even at the level of karma yoga, it is expected that people reject adharma, sinful activities. But then when we are practicing bhakti, that is parodharma. And along with that, we do also adharma. How does it match? Parodharma and adharma, how can it be together? Therefore, this point is very important. That in the base, in the Varnashrama itself, when we start talking about Varnashrama, when we start setting up Varnashrama, the first thing is adharma is rejected completely. And then in the system of Varnashrama, one gradually keeps growing in bhakti. Because one point is very clear, that not everyone might become intense full-time devotees. They might say, "Humse nahi ho payega ye sab. We'll not be able to do." So what are we offering them? What are we offering them? In fact, many times you'll see Gita course also. So many people come for a Gita course. Have you all noticed the entire hall is filled? And then towards the end, it starts becoming, the count goes lesser and lesser. Sometimes I have to pray to the Lord that, "Oh Lord, make sure that at the end I am not the only one sitting." Well, ऐसा crowd is सब करे कम हो जाता at times because of the festivals and vacation and whatever. And as soon as you talk about chanting more rounds of Hare Krishna and all that commitment, people are like, नहीं, ये नहीं, हमें पार्टी करना है, हम बैंगलोर में है, पब जाना है, ये करना है, वो करना है. It is very difficult for people to accept. So what about them? We cannot reject them. We need to have Varnashrama. Firstly, we have to have it for ourselves, and along with that, we need to have it for these people. And not everyone will be expected to chant 16 rounds at that time. Yes. It will be okay. हाँ चलो आप इस level के हो तो no problem. इस level पे रहो. जब ऊपर उठना आप उठ जाना. So therefore, gradual development takes place here. And another very important thing, there is this nice Varnashrama system. There will be no question of fall down. There is no question of fall down. Because artificially, no one will pose that, I am so and so. Because they have steps, they'll choose according to their qualification. One of the most dirty thing in all of us, including myself, is we have this hypocrisy. We have something inside, but we pose something outside. We might not be a great devotee or whatever, but then we pose outside to some extent. Why? No, we are in a Vaishnava community. If we don't pose, then how will others accept me, etc., etc. And then artificially go up, and then when the time comes, fall down. Unfortunately, that's what has taken place in the history. Unfortunate. But then when there is a question, when there is Varnashrama, then that's pretty simple. Then people can grow nicely, and they'll be protected. They'll be safe. They'll not unnecessarily artificially go up and fall down from there. So currently, when people say that I'm a devotee, please understand one thing, that we cannot call ourselves as devotee. We are practicing. We are practicing. You know who can be called as a devotee? Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu says that two types of sadhakas, Kevala Bhaktas and Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas, can be called as devotees. Now who are these? Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas are the ones, or let me put it as Kevala Bhaktas are the ones, 24/7 only bhakti, nothing else. They are Kevala Bhaktas. Who are Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas? Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas means more than half of the wakeful time. Say we sleep for 6 hours, say 8 hours we can remove, including all the other activities also if you want. Rest 16 hours remains. That's our wakeful time. We are awake. So 16 mein se half is 8. Correct, no? My math. So at least 8 hours. Rough calculation. At least 8 hours of bhakti. I was talking to one there's a group of devotees, Grasta devotees. It was a house program in some other place. So I said, आप लोग 4 घंटा तो करते रहेंगे साधना. तो सब लोग मेरे तरफ देखने लगे, क्या बोल रहा है टकलू. Then looking at their question mark on the face, then I reduced. I said 3 hours. Another question mark is there. उनके आंखों से ऐसा लग रहा था, तो और थोड़ा कम कीजिए. Then I said 2 hours. And still there was a question mark. I said useless people, 2 hours chanting 16 rounds is mandatory. See, one thing is very clear, that if you want to come to the designation of a devotee, we have to invest a good amount of time in practicing bhakti. Otherwise, we should keep our mouth shut and we should say that we are just practicing, we are trying our best. Someday we'll come to this platform. So at least we should know where we are supposed to reach. Just by hanging around in the association of devotees, we cannot call ourselves as devotees. Not possible. Yes. So these are Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas. And you know, Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas, they are the ones, they will do some material activity, but they will do material activity just to set an example in the society. They are not very keen about doing it, but they're doing it just to set an example in society. Yes. Because when it comes to monks, they cannot set example in the society. What example they will set? They're busy doing their sadhana and seva. But the grahasthas are the ones who are Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas. They can actually set an example. Therefore, one point is very clear to note. If you want to attain Krishna in one life, so these are the different things, which are very beautifully described in Shastra. But whenever I speak about all this, then people say, Prabhuji, abhi hum kya kare wo bataiye. Abhi jo bhi apne kaha wo to fairy tale lag raha hai. Haan, Mataji? What are we supposed to do now? आप लोग बताइए क्या करना चाहिए? राहुल will say बस प्रभु जी का क्लास मत अटेंड करो. सब क्लियर हो जाएगा, सब शांति रहेगी घर में. What should we do now? See, currently the situation is called as apatkal situation. It's an emergency situation that is going on. We have to do the needful, whatever we're supposed to do to maintain our body, to maintain our family. We're supposed to do. But the goal has to be clear. Earn, save, retire quickly. That is very, very important. We cannot just be the slaves in the corporate for lifelong, ekdam, or moro aise. No, sorry. Yesterday I was in an award function and I was telling the brahmachari was there with me that somehow or the other we have to forget all this, whatever you have seen here. Those half-naked females and the music and this and that. Oh, it is so uncomfortable to be there. So there is some time that is needed to reprogram ourselves, and for that full-time devotional service is needed. Therefore, grahasthas cannot quit just like that. That's not possible. But then one has to earn, save, and live a simple life, and then practice a simple life, ready to quit, and continue that simple living. That will help, because that's how we'll be able to get more time to practice bhakti. But along with that, all of us, this generation of ISKCON, we have a responsibility to set up varnashrama. Because abhi is time pe to set up nahi hoga, not possible. But we have to sow the seeds of varnashrama, because Prabhupada wanted this to happen. We have to sow the seed. In what way we have to sow the seed? To sow the seed, we have to have some land. So we need to have some farms. So we need to purchase farms. Whatever, if some devotees here, they are well-to-do, they should save and purchase some farms, so that some farming can start, some prototype can be made, where people can be inspired to live in farm communities. Second is the kids should be trained in some way. Some little training should be given to kids. Again, it's an elaborate topic of what training and what not. We can discuss that later. And another very important thing is, when the person is retiring, they can also try out to live in the farm community. They can show interest to live in the farm community and do something, because this is the setup that is needed. To be frank, all of us will be the pioneers if we set up varnashrama. We have to set up Daivi varnashrama. It is needed. And another very important thing, हम लोग तो ऐसे रास्ते से उठा के लाया था हम लोग को. That's how it was, right? Now we were just going around, paths were distributed, and we were pulled into Krishna consciousness. Actually speaking, when we are there in varnashrama, we have the power to destroy varnashrama. With all the dirty samskaras that we have. Yes. You know who can actually set up varnashrama? We have to sow the seed, no doubt. But those kids who are begotten by Garbhadan samskar, they can actually do the needful. So all the senior grahastha devotees sitting here, it's your job to understand what is Garbhadan samskar in depth. And now the next generation that is going to come, be it your kids or be it the unmarried boys and girls who come for our programs, They have to be clearly educated about what is Garbhadan Samskar. Uniting just to beget a child, it will just be an accident and a demon will be born. So giving birth to a child cannot be an accident. Yes. Uniting of male and female cannot be an accident out of sex desire. It has to be pre-planned. And that pre-planning is all about preparation of one's consciousness. And there are a lot of things to be done in that. Almost 6 months to 1 year, where the the newly married couple, they prepare their consciousness. They do vrata, maintain strict celibacy. And then, with a desire to beget a child, a divine child, they unite, taking the blessings of all the senior Vaishnavas. They give a feast to all the Vaishnavas and they announce that we are going to do Garbhadan Samskar. Please bless us. Prabhupada says there is no secret in this. Take blessings of all the Vaishnavas, and by their blessings, then it is possible to beget a divine child. And to be frank, those divine kids are going to do the needful for the ISKCON society to advance. And you know what? Such kids will have clarity. They'll not have inferiority complex, superiority complex. Say, if they are Shudra, they'll accept that I am a Shudra and they'll stay peaceful. Say someone is a Brahmana, they'll accept that I am a Brahmana, they'll never get into a job of a Shudra. So they will accept whatever they are because they have clarity. We are all confused entities, right? We're so confused. But then they'll have clarity of what they are and what they're supposed to do. They'll not be artificial in their ways of life. And the best part is, they are the ones who can understand Shastra very properly. Right from the childhood, when they're trained to study Shastra. Recently, we have started learning Sanskrit. There's so much to memorize. Those tables and the various different rules of Sanskrit grammar, so much. So I was thinking, right from the age of 5, what I've done, I would have mastered till now Sanskrit. And without the language, it's very difficult to understand the various aspects of Shastra. All glories to Prabhupada. He has given us the English books so that we can understand and do pure devotional service. But then, if we want to become those people, like in other sampradayas, you see, there are stalwarts who are called as preachers. हमारे यहाँ तो सभी लोग preacher हैं. एक दो class उनके चालू हो जाते हैं वो. But then, in other sampradayas, like for example, Sri Vaishnavas, Madhvas, for them, after becoming a scholar, then they start preaching. Where, in depth, they'll read the commentaries of their acharyas, then they'll read the commentaries of other sampradaya, they'll read the commentary of Mayavad also. And then they'll start preaching. Authentic, ekdam authentic. Yes. Therefore, these are the kids who will do the needful. So, as of now in the emergency, early retirement is what I always tell the devotees. We should plan. We cannot escape from this. We have to plan. Without association of devotees like this, we'll not get strength to practice bhakti. Therefore, we have to be in the association of devotees. And for the future, 2 things we have to keep speaking about. One is Varnashrama, and second is Garbhadan Samskar. So how much we are going to, if you're really interested that the mission should proceed, more and more people should become devotees, then these 2 things we have to do. Where we have to, for all the grahasthas should learn what is Garbhadan Samskar. If you have the capacity, you should do Garbhadan Samskar and beget kids. And if not, if already the time has gone, we should educate others and help them to beget kids by Garbhadan Samskar. So this is Varnashrama in depth that we have discussed. But there are lots to discuss beyond this also. We'll need days of seminars on how to set up Varnashrama, what we're supposed to do. But anyone who has little interest also, they can take interest in research and do some research so that we can sow seeds for the future generation. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, any questions you want to ask?
They are called and Brahmani and so you also told it split the amount, right? So if we did a we can split the amount according to the
No, once Sri Dharma for all. Yeah, for all. But naturally, like for example, the females who are in the Brahmana category, their cleanliness level, their inclination about rituals, their inclination